you end up being a Christian and you're practicing Christian culture. But what you're not being honest about is that Christian culture is deeply embedded in colonial culture.
No. Christian culture is doctrine culture. Let's be very clear there. There are things within the people that of Europe that are rebuked doctrinally. Christian culture is doctrinal culture, and that's the thing that a lot of people do not like. So Bishop Maponga responded to the show Black Conversations, and I found this particular video here. We're gonna watch it and we're gonna listen to what his response was to the hostility he was giving over there, and what justification for the thing that he was saying, schizophrenia, what, and the whole nine hajjas. Sexuality show, daily Christian commentary video. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of commentary. We do this on a daily basis, and let us see what he said in response here.
Around the world, what a time, pleasure and a great privilege to have all of you on this platform where we're going to be doing most of our conversations going forward as we are migrating our content to the YouTube space. In the last few days, we have we had a conversation with black stout, milk stout. Yeah. And an interesting conversation came out there between ourselves in the interview, and some extra pieces of information later on played out onto the social media space, Maponga versus and the disagreements that happened, to an extent that some went on to earmark and toothpick the issue where I mentioned the schizophrenic issue of the Christian community. I would like to put some clarity on that.
Oh, it was nitpicking. It wasn't nitpicking, it was very insensitive. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, guys. I mean, like, the clip was very obvious. It was very straightforward. There was no nitpicking. Like, if people pick at something that you said it. They're not nitpicking by pointing it out. You said it.
Conversation that we had. When you are a Christian or you are a Muslim, you need to understand firstly that you don't just wake up in the morning and you're a Christian, or you wake up in the morning and you are a Muslim. The colonialistic space made it in such a way that when we were colonized, the religion of the colonizer became the religion of the oppressed.
Okay, let me stop you right there. For people that think like this, hello, how are you? You are okay? Yes. This is 2020. Is it 2024 or 2023? Whichever year it is. We are not under colonial rule. I'm not under colonial rule. I'm under the ANC. Okay? And so I've said this before. This obsession with colonialism and what colonialism did, we are not under colonialism. And also, I did not receive the gospel. I did not receive Christianity under colonial rule. I got born again in 2009. That was not colonialism that converted me. It's the message that... So it undermines what Bishop Maponga says here. It undermines Christianity. It undermines the minds of the people that are receiving the message. I was not convinced by colonialism. Okay? Maybe, and also this is why we did an entire live stream where we're talking about the Bible that was used for to enslave people. And we spoke about the versions and what was missing. There's an entire video documentary online. You can look for it.
As such, you would be clear to just admit that had we been colonized by Buddhists, maybe we would have been, all of us would have been Buddhists.
Okay, let me stop you right there again. Me, I started as a Roman Catholic, okay? I came from a family that was not religious. Catholic school, and at the Catholic school, liked the whole community. We liked the activities we did. I joined the Catholic Church. But as I grew, when I went to secondary, my first encounter was not Christianity, it was Islam. I started studying Islam when I was studying it, things didn't make sense. It sounded like it was more focused on attacking Christianity than emphasizing what its points of belief was. I found it untrue. I found it from a false god. That's what I found. So I made a decision when I became a Christian. And so the idea that, okay, if you were born under this, you would have been this. That might have been what people believe, but not everybody believes that. Okay? You might be born in a Muslim country and not believe in Islam. And so that doesn't change the fact that we chose.
We've been colonized by Muslims as Kenya, Tanzania, and North Africa, where the issue is that they ended up actually becoming Muslims. And Southern Africa were colonized by Britain, Germany, and Christianity became the way of behavior and life in the South. And you cannot wake up in the morning, therefore, and say, I am a Christian.
You can, if you made the decision. Like suspending, like I don't know why he keeps suspending our capability to comprehend. We can comprehend, you know. I know, it's almost like, I don't know if it appears to Bishop Maponga that only scholars can reason their way through a belief system and make sense of it. Yeah, we are human beings. Hello, I have a brain. The same way I'm contradicting what you're saying and I go the opposite direction. I'm a reasoning person. Okay, I can wake up having heard the message of the gospel and say, yeah, I am Christian.
Or I am Muslim. It is not correct. Say I was colonized by the British.
No, I believe the message. Why can't he deal? Like in his mind, he cannot deal with that. We decided.
And the religion of the British is Christianity, Anglicans. And then I became an Anglican.
Stop you right there. It's Christianity is a religion from the East. It comes from the Abrahamic religions. Even the faith that he's talking about of Islam, they are all Middle Eastern religions. So the way he keeps phrasing it as Christianity is a thing from Europe, it's not European. The people that are said to be the pillars of the faith, the 12 apostles, not the rest of y'all, those are people from from Hebrew roots, from Israel.
And with that came in Pentecostals, came in Reformed, Dutch Reformed, came in, if you're coming from the Dutch space and the German space, and therefore religion walked hand in hand with the colonial institutions.
That's very deceptive. They used it, they might have used it. By the way, I'm going to come back to this point. I want to show something that he's not considering as a pan-Africanist. The whole idea of that the religion worked hand in hand with thinking, that doesn't say anything. How do you even defend against that? Religion worked hand in hand with colonialism. How do you even defend that? But that's not the interest. You cloud yourself trying to defend points like that. The point of the matter is the religion, the ideology, the ideas, and the founding core points of Christianity are not from Europe.
To make us what we say we are now, it is not natural that this is what we were prior to the arrival of the colonialists. Now, when you walk away from your own culture, and then you say, I am now a Christian, and yet in the midst of you saying you are a Christian, you no longer do African culture, then you end up being a Christian and you're practicing Christian culture. But what you're not being honest about is that Christian culture is deeply embedded in colonial culture.
No. Christian culture is doctrine culture. Let's be very clear there. There are things within the people that of Europe that are rebuked doctrinally. Christian culture is doctrinal culture, and that's the thing that a lot of people do not like, and they don't actually even get to explain. Christian culture is doctrinal culture. Repeat with me, church. Repeat it in the comments. Christian culture is doctrinal culture. Because, why do I say that? If a Christian does something, that's wrong. That is accepted within his culture, but it's wrong within within the narrative of doctrinal acceptance, it will be rebuked in church. So Christianity as a whole, it has a lifestyle in the sense that it has doctrine that says this is how we moderate ourselves, this is how we are cultured after doctrine. It's very, very important. It's a very small, yeah. I know you want to include culture here, yes, but your culture must make sense doctrinally to what the Christian doctrine is. And so this idea that he's trying to teach that we are following Europeans, no, I'm following doctrine. And remember, the core of that doctrine is Middle Eastern, not European.
So therefore, the way you marry, the way you eat, the way you do your business is actually directed by the religion of which you have accepted to become the culture.
No. We get married the way we get married because that's what we aspire for. That's why people design their weddings differently. We keep structuring things the way we like them. And so now maybe he might be opposed to the idea of a priest standing before and pronouncing the marriage. Let me explain where that comes from. It comes from Genesis. It is God that pronounced. It is God that pronounced the marriage of Adam and Eve together. And so that's where we get that whole thing of having someone before us pronounce our union. It's that simple.
So you cannot say, I don't do culture, and yet you marry like white, you do business like white, you dress like white, you sing like white.
As I explained, the culture of Christianity is doctrine.
And you pray like white, you eat mass and like white.
Christians don't do mass. Stop infusing. I heard him also on the on Black Conversations where he said, yeah, Christians be doing transubstantiation is. It's a doctrine that Jesus is literally the bread. That's Catholicism. You're using Catholicism to describe Christianity as a whole, creating confusion. So we don't do that. We do it in remembrance. So when we take the bread and the wine, that's not European. When we take the bread and the wine, that's doctrinally what the Christian faith teaches. That's what the Bible teaches. Leave Europeans out of it. It has nothing to do with Europeans. It literally says wine and bread. We don't need the Europeans to interfere with that one.
And the entire practice. We need to understand that religion comes with a culture. So I've said this 1,000 times. The problem.
But saying something 1,000 times doesn't make it right. Okay? Saying something 1,000 times does not make it right, as I've stated before. Okay? If you can say it 100 times that Christianity is a European thing, it doesn't change the fact that it is not.
The problem of the African is that we ate the bread with the plastic. It would have been nicer to remove the ethics and the moral education of Christianity and then threw away the culture that comes with it. Then would.
Doctrine is culture. As I've stated, that's a very important. Now you see why it's important. Doctrine implies a culture. It's not European.
We end up at least with a functional form of our faith.
Oh my goodness. He says we'll end up with a functional form. What does that mean? Is it not functional? If the moral values that it implies are functional, what is it about the doctrinal teachings that are not functional? And he says we will have a version of our faith. Which faith, Bishop Maponga? Which faith? Because right now I'm not clear on what faith you're talking about, because you're trying to mix things that don't mix. Doctrine has a culture by itself. It has nothing to do with Europeans. Read the Bible. When you read the Bible tells you, do not associate with people who are like this. First Corinthians, it is, bear in mind, in Galatians, is rebuking the witchcraft that they've embedded themselves into by wrong teaching. So what does that show you? Doctrine has a culture. Oh, I like that statement. I'm printing that. Can somebody print it on a t-shirt? Doctrine is culture. doctrine implies culture. You can't avoid it because it tells you we don't engage in polygamy. That's doctrine. If your culture teaches that, doctrine doesn't teach that. And so to imply, oh no, that's European. Which part of it is European? Which part? It's not European. Christian doctrine has a culture to it. And so right now I can understand the frustration that he keeps having. Now I haven't watched the whole video here. This video is coming from Maponga J the third, Munyu Kumarara. Okay, that's the YouTube channel where it comes from. And so if you haven't seen the video, you can go see the rest of the video over there. I've only watched 4 minutes 30 seconds of this video. It's a 9-minute video, so you can go watch it there. Now, as I've stated, there are certain points that I was correcting as we went on, and I hope it's clear that even as further as you go into it, you will see thinking Christianity is not a European belief system. It comes from Israel, so that's not Europe. Okay, the practices that we do, how we get married, whatnot, all of that stuff comes from the things that we like. You like something, you adopt it, and then you do that. Okay. For instance, some people like wearing formal clothes. I don't. Me, I wear whatever looks. You see. I'm wearing a Nigerian hat. Am I Nigerian? No. Is it part of my culture? No. It's not. This is not part of my culture. Vendors don't wear this, but I like it, so I wear it. Whether it's African or it's Nigerian, is what I like it. I wear it. That's it. Simple. I'm wearing a YouTube jacket. I'm not, but you get it. We like things and we walk like that. Now to push everything off and say, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. No, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to adopt what I like to adopt and carry on like that. That's the kind of way of life where we are right now. We are becoming city people. The more of us, as a matter of fact, many of us are even losing relatives in the village. So we are losing our connection to the village, and we are becoming more city people. And so we walk with those things in conscience. But I thought this was quite an interesting one to come here and talk about. It's Ricky, and I'll see you on the next episode. Y'all have a good one. Salute.